we have Homemade Luxury with Cheryl. And again, I want to welcome all of you to my second class of the day, my first day of classes with you guys. And again, I'm Cheryl. Really, Lux Life by Cheryl is my brand. Sorry, we don't have any posts just yet. And we talk about all things luxury. You guys, if you're social media type, you can find me on Instagram at Lux Life by Cheryl, on Facebook at Lux Interiors and Events, which is the name of my interior design company. And if you just need to reach me or call me, please feel free to do so. You have all my information there as well. I like to keep a little jazzy, snazzy luxury music in the background because it kind of gets you in the right frame of mind. I always like to imagine myself like on the beaches of Saint Tropez, or walking through a really pretty town over in Cape, in South Africa. So it's just like, you know what, this is my special place. This is what gets me going. So I just want to share that experience with you guys. So the music is going to be that kind of snazzy, jazzy vibe. And again, as you can see, I put a little blurb about myself. I am an interior designer. I'm a self-taught interior designer, which is kind of not the normal route a lot of people go to. And I thank God for giving me the talents and skills that He's allowed me to have and to utilize to get to this point in my career. Again, luxury lifestyle expert. I do own, as I said previously, Lux Interiors and Events here in Atlanta. I do interior design, event decor design, home staging. I have been very, very, very fortunate to work in the arena of TV and film, for those of you who were not on the first call. And I love luxury. I love adding that just very special touch, little piece of jazz it up. I've worked with some of the local celebrities here in Atlanta, some more international flavor. I've been very, very fortunate to spend about 10 years with Tyler Perry. I kind of cut my teeth in the TV and film industry with him. Worked on a lot of his shows, Meet the Browns, House of Pain, Why'd I Get Married to, some of his stage plays I've traveled with him on. I've decorated and production designer, which is still an interior designer for TV and film, for The Game on BET, Single Ladies, a lot of iconic shows. But the one thing they all have in common is that little extra bit of luxury. And so again, I just want to be able to bring my version of luxury to our luxury craft session. And you guys can also see that I've been featured in Sheen Magazine and on Atlanta's own Sister Circle. So I've had a very good opportunity to share my gifts and talents with a lot of people. And as you see, I'll just go down the road, but we have here Mama Wisdom here. This young lady right here, and I did call her young lady, she will get you straight within 5 seconds. So what you saw on Black Panther is in real life. She does not put on. So they just really let her be herself. She's just an adorable person. I got a lot of wisdom out of those couple of days we worked together. Down to the bottom left, you'll see me and the Property Brothers. Those guys are really tall, so it's not that I'm really short, they're just really, really, really tall. That in itself, being in the field that I am in, was one of the most fun experiences that I had to work with them just for a day, but they were really, really, really nice. And slide to the right, this one needs no introduction, but as I said this morning on the earlier class, you can probably count all of my teeth because I was cheesing like a chess cat for I just didn't stop. So he probably thought I was a stalker, but I was not. But he was just a really, really nice guy. I usually don't fan out, but when you get to work with and meet Morgan Freeman, it's like you get a out for that. And sharing with you a little bit about some of my TV and film production work. Like I said, I've had the luxury of working on a lot of TV shows and stuff here. This first one top is from Saints and Sinners, in case any of you have watched that. It was just a really cool environment to see all of the shenanigans that go on with those characters, since it's supposed to be a spiritually based, church-based project. Very interesting. Scoot down to the bottom and just to be able to create environments like this. Lodge on the bottom is a cabin and a retreat, a marriage retreat, and it's just so much fun to decorate. And I get to put all those little special touches in. So I get to create real life on TV. And I put the same level of effort into these scenes and these sets that we do. Just the same effort, because I love decorating, I love interior design. And over to the right, it's just a boutique that we did. It was actually empty storefront down in Buckhead, and we turned it into a store within a few days. And this was the outcome. And we used real antiques. So like the desk you see there was a $25,000 desk, and the chair was about $10,000. And that's the kind of stuff you have to be careful with, because you end up paying for it if you mess it up. So, but that was great. And actually all of these sets were actually either empty stages, and we built everything up from scratch, or either an empty storefront, as you see here on the right. All that to say is that keep in mind, when you see a lot of these TV shows, we put in a lot of time and effort to make these things look really, really luxurious, or maybe not, because I've even decorated a crack house before. Not that I've been in one, but I was able to decorate one, watch a lot of good movies for references, but it takes a lot of work to create these details. Now we're looking at just a couple of home projects that I've done, residential projects that I've done. The top one was top left is a farmhouse, a modern farmhouse that I created or designed here in Atlanta, inside the perimeter. And down on the bottom left was a dining room I created from a client that wanted to have a W hotel type of experience at home. They wanted the glam and the glitz, but they also wanted to have the look very upscale. So this was a great project, and actually one of my favorite projects. And I pulled this next picture on the right out of that same room, or same house, I should say. They had 20-foot ceilings, and we wanted to highlight those. So again, creating that uber luxurious vibe. And whereas these projects were all pretty high end as far as budgets, what I love being able to do is to bring that level of look to my projects that don't have the same budgets. So it can be done. Same here, I bring this elevation to my events as well. Being an interior designer, it was a natural progression for me to go and start doing event decor and design. So I have my own division where we do a lot of what I call the Luxe Lounge event. We will go and create luxury boutique lounges for a lot of celebrities and venues, and like even on the bottom left, this is from the Essence Festival over in New Orleans. So we do travel worldwide. Well, maybe not so much now with the Rona, but we do bridal parties, baby showers, all that, and then we do corporate events as well. So just to tell you a little bit about who you're working with today, and I'm going to go back to the screen so you guys can see my face now again. But so officially, welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we're going to have some fun. Going to get our, well, not really dirt, but I'm going to pretend we're in real dirt, so I'm not doing real dirt today. But we're going to have some fun. Anybody out here gardens or do terrariums already? So you can just throw it in the chat. I'd love to see who we're working with.
Cheryl, before we get started, I just wanted to ask a quick question. I was in your first class, and I wanted to know what's going to be the difference in what you do in the first class than the second class.
Well, the second class is going to be on DIY terrariums. So that's where our topic is today.
I mean, for the entire 6 weeks is what I'm saying is.
We're going to do something different every day, Ms. D. Every class is going to be different. So you have to sign in and join in, so you don't miss a class. Is that what you're asking? Because every class is going to be different.
Yeah, okay, because that's what I wasn't sure if you were going to repeat the same things from your earlier class, or like maybe those people who couldn't come to the earlier class, or if this was going to be, the second class was going to be a totally different theme, or what?
Totally different theme. It just was because I'm only doing one day, and in order to get a variety of classes for the 6 weeks, I'm only on for basically 6 days. So once a week for 6 days. So we had to be able to give a variety of classes. So unfortunately, I won't be able to do any repeats. It'll just be something new every day. But again, the goal would be for us, as I stated in the earlier class, that we're gonna try to put together an ebook so that you guys can, those that did not see every class, or if you miss a class, that you'll be able to get an ebook at the end with everything in it.
Okay, very good, thank you.
You're very welcome, yes. Okay, and any more questions before we get started? Because I'm gonna-
Hi, my name is Beverly, and I wanted to know if we will need certain materials or anything to follow along with you?
You know, Miss Beverly, like starting next week, because today was the first day, starting next week, I'm going to try to put together a syllabus for the rest of the class so that everyone will know. We'll have it put in the Facebook groups and whatnot. So that was the plan. It's just that today kind of like snuck up on us and we weren't able to get the information out ahead of time. For you all to get your supplies. So I will put together a supply list and you can bring your supplies and you can actually do the crafts right along with me going forward. That means you got to come back and see me, right?
That's right.
Okay, and I'll be honest with you guys, terrariums, for those of you who were on the first class, that one was a little bit easier to pre-plan. Terrariums is like, once you do it, you can't really undo it. So we're gonna do it together. So you guys, so I'm gonna have everything kind of put out here and we're gonna rock and roll together. So I can't, you know, put dirt in and take it out and all that kind of stuff. Once it's in, it's in. So we're gonna get started. How about that? Okay, let me pull out my screen share again. Oh, and there's one more thing about me. I like talking about me too. That's okay, but we'll go back to that later. Okay, DIY terrariums. And terrariums actually have a lot of luxury value, add a lot of luxury points to your home. One, if you can do them live, I adore you, applaud you, support you, and I totally encourage you to do so. I'm just not that girl. I can't grow anything. I just, as much as I love live green stuff, it needs to be short term with me. That's why I'm good with events. I have to put fresh flowers out, great. They're gonna die in a couple of days anyway. If I grow them at home, we got a problem. So I personally really, really, really like being able to produce terrariums that are made with faux products. Generally speaking, terrarium supplies, you're gonna need some type of container, and I'll go back to a container, rocks, pebbles, soil or sand. Succulents are usually very popular, and moss. So I'm gonna go back so you can see me. So again, some type of container. I didn't take the label off. Some type of rocks, if you will. We have a couple different types we'll be working with today. Some type of, this is glass gems, which are really, really cool to work with. Some people can go out in their backyard and pull up sand. I, for one, I buy mine in a jar, so I don't have to worry about it. If there's any critters in it, that kind of stuff, I don't do things with legs that come from outside. And different color stands is always good. And although we're talking terrariums, I like to add a little variety, and I use different containers. So they will all be glass, but like you can kind of spice it up or add a little something to your set. And then you can even do like a larger bowl, what I call a fish bowl. So we will save that for last. But what we'll do to get started, let's see what we want to do first, you guys. Let's get started here. Let's see what I have on my screen first. That's just luscious. And you guys, let me know if the music is too loud. I'll turn down, but that's my luxury music again, so we can take ourselves to that place as we're walking around and feeling kind of expensive. So that's what we want to do. We'll start with something simple, okay? We have just a regular 4x4 cube. And again, if you guys are taking notes, I don't know if you're taking notes or not, but again, we will kind of, at the end, kind of revisit our projects. I just won't be able to kind of start them back over. Glass is your friend here. I like to use thick, sturdy glass. It just adds what I call a more luxurious vibe. You can get these from the dollar store. Again, this is the DIY dollar store project. Some of mine are not all from the dollar store, but I just want to be able to show you the difference, which you can barely even tell. But for $1, cube 4x4. I wanted to do, where's my fan at? I like white, but sometimes you just want to do something that's a little dark, sexy, sultry, add a little depth to what you're doing. And as you see here, always keep some scissors close by. You'll need that regardless, pretty much whatever you're doing in craft land, you'll need some scissors. I'm just gonna snip this so it doesn't all pour out and get really messy here. Succulents are my plant of choice when it comes to terrariums, just because they're so beautiful. They're usually big, so you don't need a lot of them. So when you're buying your pieces, whether it be from the dollar store or from somewhere like Michael's or Hobby Lobby, you can always find a different variety of succulents. And they just become so popular over the last few years. So we're just gonna we're gonna eyeball this. And yeah, I'll do something else with this one. So I've already pre-cut the stem. So all we're gonna do is very basic, see how far we need to go to get coverage. And as you see, we don't have enough there. So we're just gonna pull that out. And actually, let's do this. We're gonna do something a little different. I'll show you two of them. So we're gonna finish this one. And again, we're just going clean it by ear because I can't pre-do these, because redo them is to do them. And we don't have to start over. But a very sultry, clear glass cube has now been transformed to a faux terrarium. This is something that you could do by yourself, easily, last minute. You can do these in multiples to create a very, very pretty display. If you have a dining room table, you can do them in threes. Like I said, odd numbers are always great because it just looks better as a design tip. But you can do, let's say 3 of these on your dining table, or you can do these on a bookcase or something like that. You can do change them up by changing out the actual succulent that you use. In this case, repetitive looks really, really nice. So if you did 3 or 5 of the same one down the center of your tables, that is what makes this striking. So as simple as it is in one piece, when you do it in multiples, that's what sets it apart from just being a basic. And it definitely takes on a look that's not a dollar store vibe, because, well, actually it doesn't look a dollar store vibe anyway, but that way when you put it in a multiple piece setting, it looks very, very expensive. And because anytime you see people like, oh, they bought 5 of them, like, oh, that's great. But nobody knew that you spent probably less than $10 and did your whole table. And you can even do larger cubes, of course, but from the dollar store, they have different glass pieces there. But as far as the cubes, they have one that's a little bit wider and thinner that's available. And it may vary from store to store, but I think they pretty much have the same stuff in each store. But you can always spend, Hobby Lobby has great selections, as well as Michael's. You can even find good deals at Home Goods and things like that too, but they're just gonna be more expensive or sometimes the same stuff. But again, multiples of these, 3, 5, down the middle of a table, gorgeous arrangement. And we can do something, let's just say we want to do the same project. We're going to do a little different. We want to add a little something to it, right? So we're going to use some of these white rocks. Actually, sure. 1 second, you guys. I left my magic trick, so hold tight. I'm gonna put you on screen share for 1 second. I left my little magic trick, and I'll show you that in 1 second. I'm still here, just getting my magic trick. Okay, here we go. Magic trick, I'm back with it. And this magic trick will have cost you maybe 2 cents. How about that? My magic trick was, a tip rather, is a little piece of saran wrap, because what I'm getting ready to do is to put this in between my layers, because if I were to put, I'm gonna put black sand in here and layer it. If I were to do the white pebbles, I'll put some more, and then put the black sand on top, of course it's gonna trickle all the way down and it's gonna not look as cute. So one little trick. You don't have to, like, this won't be perfect, but what you'll do is put that in there. And because it's clear saran wrap, of course, and nobody will really see it, you just gotta scoot it, make sure everything is scooted down, scooch down. So taking that extra minute just to do that will add value to what you're doing. So as you're doing, and it's not perfect, but you guys can pick it for that. It keeps, for the most part, it keeps that from going down. Let's see, look better over here, but you would actually make it a little bit neater. And I use some more black. So how many of you guys plan on actually starting your own terrarium after we get into this class? Because it can be quite fun. Now, again, if you have a green thumb, I would certainly encourage you, and again, my little things don't work right so well right now, but you'll be able to put your, next I have too much, but you'll be able to put your layer of saran wrap in just a little bit more perfect than what I did just now, and you'll be able to stick this down on top. It will actually go through the saran wrap, so it'll actually nest quite well in there. So you'll have something to break up instead of having just the black sand in there. So we can go very easily into the transition to the next one. But I just want you guys to know, again, saran wrap really ideally should go evenly across so that you can actually cut. So don't use that one as your guide, but it's pretty accurate, but it just has a few holes because I'm doing it quickly. But you'll need to take a few minutes to get that done. Not expensive, but definitely it's a little tricky. Gotta get in there, layer it across, and it will show up a lot nicer. So we're gonna slide that one over. One of the other tips that you can do, I'll go back over to this one. And again, say we have same set of items here, same set of succulents. You can actually do the reverse. Now on the reverse, so much it doesn't matter because the weight is on the sand and not on the item. So all you have to do is get you a good twist. And now Very nice. So you can actually do a display where you have the exact same 3, 5 items, and again, depending on the size of your cubes, or they could be globes too, but the size of your glass. You can just do this and replicate it. It would be very, very, very cute. Bathrooms, it looks great in bathrooms and bathroom shelves as well. But again, it's just something really simple, very inexpensive to do. And you can actually, because the dollar store carries pebbles, they carry gems, little crystals, they carry the dark pebbles, they carry the brown ones, but you can do a lot. They have this, actually, I think the sand came from the dollar store too. So we're looking at $3 worth of items, 1, 2, 3, $4 worth of items. And they would probably charge you for this in a store, home goods somewhere, $15 or $20. Just to say it's, already glued together so it doesn't go anywhere. I think not. Adding luxury at your price, can't beat it. Okay, we get the picture on this one? Yay, I'm assuming that's a yes, right? Okay, so we're gonna sashay over to another little cutie. This is a globe. Now this one is one that I did not get from the dollar store. Actually, now I fingerprinted it up, but you guys can see here. Very like a blob, if you will, on its side, which means that we're gonna have a very interesting time getting this set up. Not bad interest, just interesting, because it has unique flavor as far as, oh yeah, this is really cute. So let me get mine to here. Okay, we have, let's see. I'm gonna just do this because it lays well. So I'm gonna actually do something really cool to create an effect, if you will. Just put a little bit of sand on the bottom. You don't have to have a lot. And I might use some black rocks. Okay, we're gonna use some of these white rocks, or pebbles, if you will, they're not full-blown rocks. We're gonna lay these in here. And you don't have to be all delicate, so I'm just trying to keep it from clinking because we're talking about grass and stuff. And the whole purpose of this one, get my trusty clippers, and you will need some clippers here. My trusty assistant was supposed to clip this because this one's a little stubborn. But we can see how we do this without breaking. And you can sometimes just wiggle them. We're almost here. We'll wiggle it until we get it. And if not, I'm going to call for my backup. Just be careful when you guys are messing with your wires and stuff. You don't want to snap anything. I don't wear goggles and all that stuff, but again, like I said earlier in the previous class, sometimes you have to be careful with how you snatch stuff back and put stuff together. And there's the doggy. She doesn't like the mailman. And pretend she's not talking. And it's almost like it creates its own little world. Coco, could you please calm down? There you go. Now, if we were doing this for a permanent installation, let's see if I can get that for you guys. Again, succulents go so well because they actually take up a lot of space. You don't need a lot of them, and they really do show well. And this would be one where we would put, you need to put more rocks depending on the size of the size of the succulent you're putting in. One thing you can do if you have moss is very, very easy to work into your terrarium displays. I just, for camera, it's really messy, so I didn't use any. We won't have any out today. But just your regular green moss, you can get that from, you can use, if you're doing live terrariums, you can get it from like Home Depot or like Pikes or anything like that. But if you're doing the faux version, like what we're doing here, they actually sell the veneer version of moss, which means that you're not even getting, you can pull out the real moss that you can pull apart, the green moss, but you can actually get like sleeves, sheets of it, and you can just cut it out just like you would a piece of paper, and you can layer it in so it doesn't take up any space. It visually looks like it's really, really full, but it's really what I call a veneer, which is like a slice of it, so you don't actually get the full, you don't have to get all the mess and all the, you just get the effect of it. And you can also add other little florals. I like clean and simple ones, which is what you're gonna see here today. Simplicity still in some cases adds luxuriousness in my opinion. If you start getting really cluttery with it, some people like to add like little gnomes, little elves, little fairy animals and all that kind of stuff, but that puts you into a different decor dimension. It becomes more whimsy. Sometimes it can be very boho chic or bohemian when you start getting really heavy in all the greens. Like I said, if you like it, please put your personal spin on it. But for what we're focusing on today, it's just like that luxury, like when you walk into those, you know, $1 million homes, $500,000 homes, and you want to see how can you take that, if you don't already live in one, how do you take that look and put it in your own personal space? You'll oftentimes see that they have some of the simplest items, and it's not all about the detailed and the all the organ or what's the word? I haven't lost the train of thought. The organic vibe that some of those things give. But if you are doing live, then by all means, you actually need those things. You need the activated charcoal, excuse me. You need that to help keep the water fresh and circulating, pulling out all the toxins out of there. You actually need some of the other moss, because those things have healthy bacteria that helps the plants grow. You can do succulents. And especially if you're going to do live, if you're in a well-lit environment, dry but well-lit, you don't have to have a green thumb with succulents. And that's the only plant that I could probably do without killing it pretty quickly, are succulents, because they can go a long time if you forget and you don't do high attendance to your greens, and like when you don't have a green thumb, they are really, really ideal. All you do is just plug them in some water, a little bit of water. That goes a long way, since they're mostly water-based, so they don't have to have a lot of water to stay alive for long periods of time. And just like here, you could do, I'll pull this one out. Like this is very representative of a real succulent. And let's just say we want to play with this one and pull it back out of here. It just changes the whole vibe. And I love the contrast of the colors, the reds, they have even purples, and we'll see some of those a little bit later. And of course, the green, the actual green chips. But you could put, let's see, we'll put a bit more in the back. Okay, so we'll do this. And as you see, there's no right or wrong. It's just a matter of how creative can you get. So when you realize like, oh, I want to change my decor up, and you may change your pillows up, you might change your the draperies up, because most people aren't changing up furniture that often. But what can I do to make a change in my decor that'll actually be a really, really nice pop? You just go in and, you know, add a couple of terrariums in there, so that'll hide that. And again, it's just really cute. This is more based off of the actual container, so that's why you have to have fun with your container. So don't feel like you don't always have to do this, but the dollar store version, hey, is great. And again, duplication of this or replication of this is awesome. And here with this one, it might have even cost probably like $7, so not like it's a big expense either. But as you can see, the thickness of the glass is what you're paying for, as well as the shape of the glass is what you're paying for. So have fun with that. Okay, let's. Any questions before we go on to the next one? While I pull my next bit of supplies out. No questions. You guys having fun? I need you guys to be like, yes, girl, we are having a great time. because it's all about luxury. We're gonna go over to the big dark pebbles, big river stones as we call them, officially call them river stones. And that's usually because they actually are found near the riverbanks. Just a little backstory. They are found by the riverbanks. And like those of you who are in the Atlanta, Decatur area, especially, like, you know, where flat shoals, the river that runs through, the creeks that run through by flat shoals, because it's called flat shoals for a reason, because these are reminiscent of like the flat shoals that are actually along the banks of the river. So that's why they call that. So getting a little education along with your luxury. And these are a little bit bigger, obviously, than the white rocks. But we're gonna take you through some of the varieties of how you can layer. And like we've used sand over here. Sand usually means you need to use a lot of it, depending on what type of terrarium that you're making. And now, we're actually, let's do it this way. We're gonna take the same one and we'll just show it. And again, terrariums can be visually, they're gonna give you exactly that. If you want, you can do the faux water, so you can actually show that it's actually in water. I personally, there's some really, really nice brands that you can use, and if you guys are interested, I can skip those names back out to you. Just hit me up or DM me and I can let you know. Some of them yellow, and that's what you don't want, because if you're gonna have anything that yellows, it should be from having a natural terrarium, so that if the water dries up and you have soil in the water, that you don't have to worry about, okay, gosh, my water looks kind of like murky a little bit. It's because it's from the soil that's in your terrarium, but not just because you put some fake binding gel in there and it actually is turned yellow because it just was a bad brand. So you have to be careful when you're looking for something that actually holds and you have water in there. So you can take, again, same succulent that we used over here, and we're going to do this just a reverse of what we did there. We did with the black sand and the white rocks. So over here, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take the white rocks and layer over that, just to add a little spice of life. Again, sorry for the clinking, it's hard to not clink. So we're gonna clink on, my sisters, we're gonna clink on. Okay, need y'all talk to me. Are we okay? We doing good over here? I want a feedback at the end of the session to say you guys have grown either some really, really real terrariums, or I need y'all to show me some pictures of some terrariums that you guys have done, as well as for those who took the wine class, the wine bottle cover class. I need you guys to send me some pictures of stuff you've done. If you have enough information to go out and just try it, be daring. Don't be scared. Just do it. Okay, so now if we pop, layer. The contrast again is great. It's like layering a cake almost, if you will, or let's just say like a banana pudding. I make great banana puddings. At least my husband says so. But you have the black rocks on here. You have the layer of the white rocks. Beautiful contrast, and with the terrarium, with the succulent that you're using here, and was my other little favorite succulent over here that we use in the little oblong. Again, I like to do contrast, so that's just something to keep in mind. Contrast is your friend, and you just pop it in. I mean, you guys, it can't get much easier than doing a terrarium, because like I said, they add so much decorative value with very, very, very little work. You can even do, and I did not bring any out today, but you can even do tall cylinders. You can do large fish bowls, like other than the one I'm gonna show you here in a little bit, but you can pretty much do whatever you want. Just make sure that you have enough of your supplies on hand, because again, with terrariums, especially if you're using products like sand or gems, it's gonna be really, really hard to undo, you can do it, but it's just a hard separating factor to start all over. So just know that there's no right or wrong, you know, whatever works your fancy, but don't be scared to try something and just think, oh, well, gosh, it doesn't look like I want it to look like my little guy here. You can't really do them perfectly because there's no such thing as perfection when you're talking about terrariums. So there you go there. So you don't have to do much on that. We'll put that back over here. Y'all still, let me see, y'all still here? I still don't hear anybody with any questions, no comments, no nothing, anything in chat. What, are y'all taking naps over there on me? Are you sipping some wine from my early class? Okay, I got it. I still gonna have to go step something up because y'all is over here real quiet, real quiet. All right, and this one, you know what? There is something beautiful about here, and you can see how you have down here at the bottom, you have the sand or granular, really grainy sand, unlike the kind of real refined sand that you can see like at the beaches. This is a live one, obviously. You can have the, you'll have the soil here. So for those of you, again, want to step out and do it with soil, it's very, very easy for you to do. And then you can plant these little babies here. Again, I'm just not that green thumb person, but as you can see back here in the back, you can add your pops of color. And those are probably very reminiscent or very akin to the, what I call the avocado, not avocado, the, oh, I'm having a brain fart. Okay, I'll think of it in a second. But with the, with this type of succulent back in the back here. But again, and these, cutely enough, as you see, these are jars. I actually have a jar. My husband was peeling the paper off of it. I made the last little bit of some potato salad the other day, and I said I used my salad cubes, but I took the bottles from my jars from my salad cubes and pull the paper off. We just used the last bit, so it still kind of has some paper on it. He didn't take it all off, but as you can see, how cute is that? There is nothing that you can do wrong with saving up your mayonnaise jars, your pickle jars, your any of your jars. Like these have such cute shape, because I'm telling you, if you go to Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Home Goods, and they'll sell you really really nice jars, but you're going to pay dearly for them. So why not recycle and repurpose things that you're already bringing into your house, and you don't have to worry about it, right? Okay, so let's go back. Do you guys agree? Yes. Again, do you guys, are you with me? Because we're supposed to be doing lecture.
Yes.
Okay, there you go. Talk to me. Okay, so one of the things I want to point out to you, I'm gonna come over here. I have a little globe, and it's gonna be really, really basic on this one, but I don't know if you can see this, but this is 99 cents from the clearance rack at, where it's Hobby Lobby, 99 cents. And these are actually glass gems, which are always great. So you can, I always like to layer my heavier items on the bottom first, just because it adds more weight and visually gives a foundation. So that's just a little tip when you're doing terrariums or even flower arrangements and things like that. If you can put your heavier items on the bottom, it just works better. Now this right here is a little bit different because again, you have sand, and like, this is not the one we had in here. Like with sand, it's okay because it allows you to, it still gives you a visual layer. So it still gives weight to the item, to the container. And the rocks now appear lighter because they're almost like you're floating. So that's okay. But if you're gonna do this next item I'm doing now, just again, these are terrariums, all about layering. Layering technique is how you make your terrariums pop. So again, we're taking the same set of supplies and we're just recycling them. And I wanted to bring out this little guy, this little bag of gems with the scissors. And we're gonna pour And this is for bleed through. So you can actually play with that. You can have some bleed through to give it some layers. So like if in nature, things aren't actually always even like you see here. So we're gonna play with this because again, like if you went to Flat Shoals Creek or whatever the creek is that's closest to me, you might have some of the rocks coming through the sand, and then you will have the water, or actually maybe the reverse, but you're gonna have the items coming through, and you can use, let's see if this one might be big enough. You're gonna just slide this little baby up in here. And again, you're creating a different layer, of interest. It doesn't have to be layer, 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 different layers, because in nature, you don't have exact, nothing is exact. So you can just actually play with it. So now, unlike the sand, it still will layer down and dribble down in there, and we don't have to do the saran wrap. You don't need that on here because it's okay, because the grains of the glass are big enough. They're big enough so you don't have to worry about, oh wow, it's bleeding through. You want some bleed through. But again, it's okay because we have the largest stones that are still layering the bottom. And you can't really see that, I don't think you see it, but they're still there on the bottom, and they're just kind of shifting their weight so that they don't have to worry about actually balancing themselves out. So that's one trick. You can actually go a little further, and actually I'm gonna pull these out of here. I like little white guys. They actually add a lot of, they make you feel like it's a little bit more modern. So if you ever want to feel like you want to, depending on what your decorative style is, you can make this look very, very traditional or transitional. And traditional is just that. We already know what that is. But that would be a lot more traditional you'll get with your real live plants. But if you want to go transitional, which is like in between, you kind of got, a little bit of current modern flavor going, but you got grandma's antiques throughout the house. So you really kind of want to blend those things. That is easy to do with terrariums again, because it's really, they kind of like sponges, they kind of absorb whatever is around, whatever you put them, the environment you put them in. And then, and not that we're gonna have some white that we can add back in there. So we can add some white. And white is gonna always make it feel more modern. It's gonna make it feel cleaner, crisper, and just definitely more modern in general. So don't stray away from it if you're not a modern person, but it can add a pop. And if you're adding some color, it's gonna give you a very, how do you wanna say it? It'll give you a base of hipness or coolness. And you can never go wrong there. So just have fun. And I'm just gonna line the edges of this because I don't want it to overpower what we have going on. But you can actually have fun with it because, again, I can't pre-plan these, so I just have to be organic in how we put them together. And this one, again, I can recycle him because he's got a larger top and can fit nicely up in here. And again, so now you've done 3 different layers of rocks in the same, we just took it from a 2-layer to a 3-layer. And you can always, again, switch out because I have different pops of succulents. And again, succulents are always great. And for those of you who do shop that do shop a lot at the craft stores, you're gonna be like overwhelmed because there's so many different types of succulents. And then you can always come outside the bowl. Don't be scared. You don't have to stay in there. This is a scrap that I had from the other fabric that we used for the wine wrap, the wine bottle covers. And that's why I always save stuff. Now, this was just not all done in one day, but if I were doing this like in one day like I am now, then I definitely save some of my pieces, but I don't have to have them, I wouldn't necessarily save them. And these work nicely because they actually look like some of the petals of the succulents that we've used, that we've been using. And they are, most of them are wired, so you have some give in there already, so you can actually layer these right side up, and they'll usually stay in there. And again, you're looking for things that feel organic and feel real, so don't feel like you have to, you're not looking for perfection in this. What you're looking for is a variety. When you start adding layers, you're looking for a variety. And color change, because that will be a lot. So like this is just too.
Cheryl, pull it a little closer to you so we can see the bottom of it.
Is that better? Okay, so you can see here, like the leaves, layer those in there. And you can even do smaller leaves. Actually, want to do, but this is just not to take away from what you've already done, but just to actually add. Like for me, I'm using these small succulents because we're doing smaller bowls. Excuse me, I'm using these for my actual centerpieces of the terrariums. Again, some of them, if we use larger items, we can get crazy with how many different terrariums, how many different succulents that we're adding. And this one, we're just gonna do just a little something. And if I had my stapler, or if I have a glue dot, what I would do is curl this, and since I have my glue dots down here, curling a piece and just sticking it on the side, because in nature, again, we're replicating nature. Nature is not going to give it to you straight, but you'll just have different curls through there, and just adding layers. And in real life, this could be plants growing on the outside of it, miniatures growing. And again, so in real life, you could eventually grow out the bowl, but just have fun with it. Just know that everything is in replicating nature, which means that there is no perfect solution. What you put in the bowl is how you make it. And God forbid you put it in there and you just don't like it, then guess what? You just empty the bowl. It takes a little bit more work, of course. Empty the bowl, take out, separate everything. But when you're doing sand, it just gets to be a little bit trickier because you got to put all the sand back together. So we'll put that over there. Oops, we'll do there. Right there. Let's put another one. Okay, let's have to do it. Okay, oh, we're doing good. Okay, so now what I'd like to do is sachet. Let's see what I got here. Over. Ladies, we're still doing okay. I still got everybody here. That you guys are quiet on me. I know I'm not as loud and rambunctious like I was with the wine bottles. I get excited about the wine. But we're gonna shift the gear here.
They're real nice. I like them.
Thank you very, very much. This is just, we're midstream here, but, or we're past midstream, but I'm saying midstream of my slides here. But just to recap, basically it's all about picking your container. You could even do, and this is, we're not gonna do this today, but you could even take a trusty water bottle, cut it at this nice little, the hip line, if we call it that, hip line, you can use that. There's lots of things you can do, but these are just, bubble shape, the lotus bowl, the cylinder, or whatever your fancy is for that. I love glass. Glass just gives you life. It just, you can put whatever, anything you want to be transparent about, just put it in. Next up, you have pick your foliage. As I said, succulents are going to be our item of choice today, but you can pretty much use succulents and greens, other greens, especially miniatures. They really add a lot of visual texture to what we're doing. Place the insert, which is what we've pretty much done. As you can see right here in this picture right here to the left of number 3 and 4, how in a larger bowl you could do other succulents, you can do other type plants, and here's like a little pops of moss down in here. And this one seems to be, this one looks pretty real, or either not, they have the moss spread around, and you have a base of some type of soil. And especially like over to the right, you'll see how like in this this one here, how you can mix the soil and the rocks. So in this case, I had sand and rocks over here, and then put the succulent embedded in there. And then your fillers, like I said, we could do stones, rocks, moss. Those are our standards, but get creative because you can do glass, shimmers of glass, and like in different types of colored rock and whatnot. So it makes it a lot easier for you. And just make it pretty. Like I said, have fun. There's no right or wrong. I've said that, throughout the whole process. But I just want to make sure that you guys know that. I don't know about growing any collard greens up in here, because it's probably gonna have to get a big vase for that, or bowl for that. But I'm sure you can grow some herbs and stuff in there. And that's actually one of the other classes that we're looking at bringing in. And I'll do probably a combo, but doing herbs in your indoor garden, and pretty much, which is real easy. Enjoy. We do have to do that. Enjoy. So what you're making, just take pride in the beauty of what you're bringing and providing to your home. There is no right or wrong, and that I cannot stress enough, because it's all about what you've done. And once you realize that you've put your I won't say any sweat, because there's probably a lot of sweat involved in this process, but this is where you can add value to your home very, very, very much on a low budget. Add a lot of value. Let's see what you want to do next. So right here, because we're talking succulents, again, switching gears, sometimes you can add a little variety when you're doing succulents and terrariums. So although this is not a terrarium, this will work in conjunction with a terrarium that you will have. So what you can easily do is, what I like to do is layer. And what I do, I don't fill it up with rocks and stuff from the top to the bottom, because then you're just wasting resources. So what I like to do is pre-fill it with something that can take up a lot of the bottom. And like, wow, okay, that's great. So, and then we can go and do some of our heavier pieces, like these black rocks. And like this little guy here, we're gonna push it down, give it some breath down there. We're gonna add some more inside. And then we'll raise it back up a little bit. So you can pick other sizes of like this one, because it kind of blended in with what we're doing. And so if you have a windowsill in your kitchen that looks out into the backyard, if you're cooking and over your sink, a row of these, it's just a nice pop. A real pop, huh? A really nice pop. Can you guys see that? Okay. And again, I didn't use 2 bags of stones, because I filled it in from the bottom. So, you guys, you can use anything like grocery store bags. They're gonna make a little more noise, but you're not gonna be moving around once they're actually set. You can use fabric, scraps of fabric. You can use paper towel, and whatever that can fill and not squelch down or pack down when you put it in. So something like this, really cute. You can even do you can do something cute, like adding a little adoration. Actually, no, I don't want to use that one. I want to use this one. You can use something like this. So let's just say you want to put on your table display, you're going to have a terrarium, and I'm pulling off twine here. Twine is my friend, literally. Who knew that I would be such a fan of twine and burlap in my later years? I'm 25. Sweet telling like. So we would do something really cute like this. Wrap it around. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Again, we're just trying to get some variety. And I guess you guys can see me doing that. And I'm going to be crisscrossing so I can make sure that I don't have to tie a knot. I'm going to tighten this as I go. You don't have to put a knot in it, but you'll tighten as you go. A little bit. And all I'm trying to do is create a band across around here. Just to create that nice waistline that we love to highlight, especially in the summertime, right? I think I can get it around another 1 or 2 more times, ladies. And I'm gonna go this way so I can tighten, so I'm not tightening the other way. And again, I'm just trying to tighten it as I go so that I could give a band of sorts without having to put a knot in it right now. And then I'm going to, here we go. I'm gonna cut another piece. And this is where I will tighten. Oops, there we go. This is what happens when you're trying to work with no glue dots. I didn't have a chance to get my glue dots down here before class started. So now we're gonna, and glue dots are great. They are actually found at the at Michael's and Hobby Lobby as well. Even I think Home Depot carries them, but they're not in the pretty packets like you can find at the craft store. But we're gonna tighten right there. And
Hey, Cheryl, I'm sorry. Are you saying glue as in the color, blue dots, or
no,
glue?
I'm sorry, glue, G like George, L-U-E.
Okay.
Because had I had my little glue dots, and actually this one is not the one that I should have had down here, but these are adhesive strips. I don't know if you can see it very well, but
Okay.
But you can see the adhesive down here, but the dots just happen to work better for this type of setup that I'm doing, so I should have had those down here. But you're pulling this up. But glue dots, they come in sizes of like 500, because there's basically just that little dots of glue that you put on your crafts or just whatever, paper, wood, glass, metal projects, whichever. So we're gonna now come back through and tighten this little baby up. I'm tying backwards, so excuse me if this is why you need glue dots, seriously. I'm trying not to tighten it up. And this is why you don't get caught up in perfection. You guys get my gist, but I just want to kind of show you where I'm going. So just bear with me 1 second. And learn how to cut with one hand. That's pretty good, huh? Trick I learned. Okay, so we're gonna do this little guy here so he doesn't fall anymore. So we're gonna tighten here. I'm turning just so I can get a little bit more even without dropping it again. I'm balancing the weight of the weight to turn around so I don't have to totally let go. We're gonna tie. We're gonna tie it again. One last time, and then we're gonna be all the way up. Then I'm gonna show you what I'm trying to do. What the end result will be. Okay. So this will be squished up to the top. I'm gonna cut off my frayed ends off. And all it does is add a visual banding on the side. Again, you just have to play with it because there's no way to pre-do these. But you get the gist of it. I try not to have a lot of knots, or I like try to trim it so it does not have any knots. But instead of just automatically using ribbon, I like the rusticness of using the twine. I hope it doesn't drop off. Okay, staying on. Okay, don't know how long that's gonna last. Oh, one more. But some of these little tins come with they come with handles, and I try as a tip, I try to get the ones without the handles, unless you're gonna actually do something with them. But just to say, for variety, we just want to add a little banding of twine along there. You can use twine, you can use wire like we use in the class before, for those of you who are on here, like the copper wire. You can just wind it, wind it, wind it. It just gives you something different. So you could have like a trio of terrarium, and then this one would just be just like a planted succulent to go in and mix it up a little bit. And then let's see how we're going on time. Okay, so got a little bit. And lastly, what I want to do is show you guys one that's over here. And this is going to use our big globe. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my rock out of here. And again, it doesn't take a lot of work. It just takes the patience. I'm going to use the black rocks on here first. And here. I'm going to use, and again, sorry for the clank. We'll get out of clankness soon. I'm only repurposing these because we have a plan, we have a system here. We're gonna layer.
George, come here.
We're digging out all of the larger rocks, of course, the pebbles, the riverstone. Just a few more. And this is one that you can use, like I said, a larger, what we call fishbowl. Give a very nice presentation. And especially for the live terrariums, these really, really get really nice. So, and now we're going to fill in with the black sand, because now we can fill in. So I had to stand up and put the other stones in. And this, I'm using the black because I bought a couple different colors. But, and again, we're gonna, just for visual texture, so we don't have to worry about, oh, we can't see it, because when we're gonna get done, you won't see a lot of it anyway. But it's just really to give you a black base for your next layer. We're gonna layer with the white. And trying to keep it neat and clean as I go along, which is sometimes hard to do things, but in this case, since we're just talking rocks, it's a little bit more manageable. And we're gonna take the rest of our little stones that we have over here, and we're placing them strategically, not in my lap. That's not part of the strategy, because this land will come in my lap. And this one, we're using just so we can have a soft backdrop. The black is for the contrast, for the layering, but we're raising it up as we go. So we're gonna use that for, okay. One last, okay, one last go at it here. That gives us some nice soft balance of the black. And then what we're gonna do, these are actually some really cool flowers that I found while I was at the craft store. And these were, they were actually on sale too for like $1.75 a stem. They were regular like $6 a stem. So these, I'm gonna cut it down a little bit more. Where am I? Cutter? But you guys, it's really easy to pack these little puppies in, as you can tell. So don't feel like if you have a special occasion and you want to do a terrarium with your colors, it's very easy to do. Okay, I'm gonna snap this.
She's trying to. Oh, she got it.
Silver? I'm sorry. Are you somebody just said somebody's not off? Mute you guys.
He got it.
Okay. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, because that was very stubborn, I'm gonna push it down so I don't hurt myself. And we're gonna do that there. We're gonna do the same thing over here. And maybe I don't have to do this one so much. But just always like to be careful that, you know, I'm just gonna bend the tip so I don't hurt myself. He's a little stubborn too. And then let's see, who would I want to recirculate? Actually, let's use this guy again. But this one blends harmoniously and with this guy. So I want to save you the last little guy for our closeout and show you how you can make a beautiful square. And see, these guys have such visual texture and they just are grabbing at you, and you can still do, and actually you can still stand up, put even one or two more succulents in here. Let's see, can I grab this little guy? Let's do that.
Cheryl.
Yes.
I've been a bad student.
Who is that?
Question. This is Bridget. I probably, you probably said this at the very beginning. I did come on a little late, but I've been a little distracted. Is that the stuff that you're putting in it? What is that? The plant.
Which one?
Stuff. The plant. Succulent.
Succulents.
Are those
yes,
real?
Basically, that's cactus.
Are they real?
These are not real, no.
Oh,
but
okay.
you can do the real ones because they are so, in my mind, and in my opinion, they're very gorgeous plants to use. But you can, succulents, because they're thick and rubbery looking in real life, it's very easy to get away with doing artificial.
Okay.
So
where do you get that artificial succulent?
Yeah, you've really been going a long time, Bridget. You can go to,
I've been distracted. I've been doing some things.
It's okay. It's okay. Michael's, Hobby Lobby, where's my other craft store? Joann's Fabrics. They have like a little section. You can and it actually, and I will say this, Dollar Tree does, the dollar stores do carry them, but they don't look white and cute to me. So for $1 or $2 more a stem for the succulents, I definitely spend the extra $1 or $2 and go to the Hobby Lobby. It's one of my favorites again. And like, see how we just add those layers in there?
Yes. So this is my last question.
No, that's what I'm here for.
I know you said it before. What is that black thing?
That's good. That's great. No, go ahead.
What is that black thing that you put, the first thing you put in there at the very base? It's something looking like charcoal, that black thing?
It is a combination of black river rocks, the smaller ones, as well as black sand.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So these are, I just filled in the black river rocks.
Okay.
These are all, everything here is real except for the succulents.
Okay, I was wondering about that. Thanks.
Yeah. No, any more questions? I think we only have just a few minutes. I hope you guys have had a great session with me today.
That's pretty.
I have a quick question with the black rocks. If you wanted to create like, I'm thinking like a floral arrangement or something like that,
Mhm.
instead of succulents. How can you glue those rocks, or what can you use so that the rocks won't fall out, or like if it's tumbled over, everything will stay in place?
There's actually an answer for that. That's who we got. Miss D, was that Miss D?
Yes.
Okay. The answer to that is there is actually, you know how you have your trusty glue gun? There is a thing called a glue skillet. You have to be extremely careful with the glue skillet because it's exactly that. It's like hot glue in a flatter surface, and you can dip stuff in it and you can take stuff out. So you either have to be very, very, very careful or make sure when you pull stuff out. And by this, I'm assuming that you're talking about, okay, you got your flower arrangement done and you just want to do like a top layer or something like that. Is that kind of what you're thinking?
Right. I want the black rocks to show on top or whatever,
Right.
grass or whatever, but I don't want it to spill over,
Yeah, right. Now that's probably the most appropriate way to do it, but you have to be extremely careful just because of the temperature of the glue, and you need to have on really some high temp gloves so that if something pops off, you're okay. That's the ideal way. One other option would be to take your glue gun, and if you're not doing a lot of them, this would be probably a very easy answer too. So you only have 50 rocks or something, you can just kind of sprinkle it around, or like you're designing something, and put the rocks on, let it cool, and then kind of see what's shaking and what's not. You can see where your rocks are falling from, do another round of it. So it takes a little bit longer, but it keeps you from having to go out, and if you already have a glue gun, and most people that craft usually have a glue gun, but that's like nowadays a $20 investment. But you can do it that way and they won't fall out, but you'll have to just kind of layer and see where your holes are. Like I said, layer the rocks, put the glue down, put the rocks on top, let it cool, turn it upside down and see where your holes are, or like lean it. You don't have to turn it upside down since you're doing an arrangement, but lean it over and see what's loose and what's not, and then kind of pick them up and then kind of start back over. That takes a little bit longer, but it does give you that option. And then the other option is if you're doing a clear glass base, like I mentioned earlier, if you do the powder and set it in with the gel that looks like real water, then if you do that, you can kind of put the rocks on top while it's setting, and it'll kind of seal it in there and they won't come out. But it only gives you the ability to do like a little, like probably one layer, because you don't want it to, the rocks to be so heavy they start sinking to the bottom. If you're going to put them in at the bottom, it's great because it looks like you actually have rocks and water and all that. So it's like a fresh arrangement. So that'll be the easiest way to do that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Very nice.
Very good. We have any more questions?
Very
Oh, we're actually at which one? Which one? You guys, I've had a ball. I just thank you for sitting in with me, and especially if you hung in here for 2 classes back to back. Again, as I stated earlier, I will get a syllabus out, at least for a week in advance, so that you guys can know what's going to be taking place, so that you are, oh, thank you, Ms. D. Thank you so much. I love to hear that. Thank you. That you guys will know what's coming up for the next week, so you can participate and get your supplies, so that as I'm zooming and talking, I can look out and see what you guys are doing too, so we can all do it together.